As you can tell by that title, we are continuing our bedtime story of Then She Was Gone. I just, like, this is not even a chapter that I'm on. It's just a page. Like, it just, like, did I show y'all what it looks like? Like, oh shoot. Like, that's all there is to it. Like, what is that? I don't know what that means. Like, it's not a chapter or nothing. Like, y'all let me know what that means if y'all watching this far. Okay. But anyways, let's get started. Also, make sure you like the video so the algorithm will pick it up. Let's go. The world looked loaded with Borden as Laurel drove as close to the speed limit as she could and managed toward the police station in Firsbury Park. People on the streets looked sinister and suggestive, as if each were on the verge of committing a dark crime. A wings flapping in a brisk wind looked like the wings of birds of prey. Billboards looked set to fall into the road and obliterate her. Adrenaline blasted a path through her tiredness. Laurel hadn't slept properly since 2005. She lived alone for 7 years, first in the family home and then in the flat she moved into 3 years ago when Paul put the final nail in any chance of a reconciliation by somehow managing to meet a woman. The woman had invited him to live with her and he accepted. It's impossible to be married to Laurel. What's going on? I don't know. Things fell apart ever since the daughter disappeared, so yeah. But anyways, she never. Okay, the woman invited her to live with her and he accepted. She never worked out how he done it, how he found it, that healthy pink part of himself among the wreckage of everything else. But she didn't blame him, not in the least. She wished she could do the same. She wished she could pack a couple of large suitcases and say goodbye to herself. Wish herself a good life. Thank herself for all the memories. Look fondly upon herself for just one long lingerie moment and then shut the door quietly. Chin up. Morning sun playing hopefully on the crown of her head. A bright new future awaiting her. She would do it in a flash. She really would. Jake and Hannah had moved away too, of course. Okay. And then faster, she suspected, and earlier than they would have if life hadn't come off its rails 10 years ago. Yeah, life went off rails when her daughter died, so it got really crazy. Okay, so she had friends whose children were the same age as Jake and Hannah when who were still at home. Her friends moaned about it, about the empty orange juice cartons in the fridge, the appalling sex noises and the noisy drunken returns from the nightclubs at 4 in the morning that set the dog off and disturbed their sleep. Teenagers. Okay, how she would love to hear her children stumbling about in the early hours of the morning, how she would love the trail of used crockery and rumpage joggers still in bed with underwear left pulled all over the floor. Yeah, now they don't live there anymore, so I wondered, is that really how parents feel when they children leave the nest? They reminisce about all the old things. Okay, so, but no, her two had not looked backward once they seen their escapes. Jake lived in Devon with a girl called Blue who didn't let him out of her sight and was already talking about babies only a year into their relationship. And Hannah lived a mile away from Laurel in her tiny, gloomy flat, working 14 hours a day, and the weekends in the city for them were setting the world alight. But then whose children? Oh, my bad. Flat working 14 hours a weekends in the city. Neither of them were setting the world out. We're setting the world right, but then whose children did? All those hopes and dreams and talk of ballerinas and pop stars and concert and pianists and boundary breaking scientists all ended up in an office. All of them. That's just how life goes. We are children. We have imagination. We want to be better, do good things. And then when you grow up, you get something totally different than what you actually want. Laura lived in a new build flat in Burnett. One bedroom for her, one for a visitor, a balcony enough for some planters, and a table, and chairs, shiny red kitchen units, and a reserved parking space. It was not the sort of home she never envisioned for herself, but it was easy and it was safe. And how did she feel her days now that her children were gone? Now that her husband was gone? Now that even the cat was gone, though he made a big effort to stay alive for her and lasted until he was almost 21. That's a long time for an animal. Okay, Laura filled 3 days a week with job. She worked in the marketing department of the shopping center in Burnett. Once a week she went to see her mother in an old people's home in Enfield. Once a week she cleaned Hannah's flat. The rest of the time she did the things that she pretended were important to her, like buying plants from garden corners like centers to decorate her balcony with like visiting friends. She no longer really cared about to drink coffee she didn't enjoy and talk about things she had no interest in. She went for a swim once a week, not to keep it, but just because it was something she always done. She never found a good enough reason to stop doing it. So it was strange after so many years to be leaving the house with a sense of urgency, a mission, something genuinely important to do. Dang. Okay. She was about to be shown something, a piece of bone, maybe a sherd of blood fabric, a photo of a swollen corpse floating in the dense in waters. She was about to know something after 10 years of knowing nothing. She might be shown evidence that her daughter was alive, or evidence that she was dead. The weight of her soul betrayed the belief that it would be the a predicated A/A result, but in other ways too. She often brought Ellie a little something, a packet of earrings from Claire's Accessories, a fruit favorite lip balm, a really nice pen. For my best student, she said, and if Ellie protested, she'd be brush it away with a, well, I was in Burnett Cross, you know, it's a little bit of nothing really. She always asks after Dio as well, whom she met briefly on her second or third session at the house. And how's that handsome fella of yours? She asked in a way that should have been mortifying, but wasn't, mainly because of her lovely Irish accent, which made most things she said sound funnier and more interesting than they actually were. That's exactly how it works. Okay, so he is fine, Ellie would say, and Noel would smile her slightly chilly smile and say, well, he's a keeper. GCSEs were now looming large on the horizon. It was March and Ellie had started to count down her exams in weeks rather than months. Her Tuesday afternoon session with Noel had been building in a moment as her brain stretched and touched and absorbed facts and formula more easily. There was a snappy pace. Their lessons now a high. Now a high octane rhythm. So Ellie noticed it immediately. The shift in Noel's mood that the first Tuesday in March. Good afternoon, young lady, she said, putting her bag onto the table and unzipping. How are you? I'm fine. Well, that's good. I'm glad. And how did you get on with your homework? Ellie slid the completed work across the table toward Noel. Normally, Noel would put on her reading glasses and start marking it immediately, but today she just laid her fingertips on top of it and drummed them absurdly. Good girl, she said. You are such a good girl. Ellie watched her questioning from the corner of her eye, waiting for a signal that their lesson was about to begin. But none came. Instead, Noel stared blindly at the homework, gazed at Ellie. What's the worst thing ever happened to you? Ellie shrugged. What? Noel continued, like a hamster dying, something like that. I haven't had a hamster. Well, then maybe that might not have. Maybe not having a hamster is the worst. Not having a hamster. Well, okay. So, well, then what did you want? Oh, I never really wanted one. Faster. Ellie shrugged again. I never really wanted one. Well, then what did you want? What did you really want? That you weren't allowed to have. In the background, Ellie could hear the TV in the kitchen, the sound of her mother vacuuming overhead, her sister chatting to someone on the phone. Her family is just getting on with their lives. What's your point? Okay. Nothing really. Just the usual things. Money, clothes. You never wanted a dog. Not really. No outside. And pulled Ellie's homework toward her. Well then, you are a very lucky girl indeed. You really are. And I hope you appreciate how lucky you are. Ellie nodded. Good, because when you get to my age, there'll be loads of things you want, and you'll see everyone else getting them, and you'll think, well, it must be my turn, surely. And then you'll watch it disappear into the sunset, and there'll be nothing you can do about it. Nothing whatsoever. There was a moment of pondering silence before finally, slowly, Noelle slid her glasses onto her nose, pulled back the first page of Ellie's homework, and said, "Right then, let's see how my best student got on this week." Okay. Tell me, Ellie, what are your hopes and dreams? Ellie groaned inwardly. Noelle Donnelly was one of those moods again. Just to do really well with my GCSEs and my A levels, and then go to a really good university. Y'all, my carpet turtle acting up. Noelle tunted and rolled her eyes. What is it with you young people and your obsession with university? Everybody wanted to go to university. Kids love going to universities. Why not? Not everybody want to go to community college. Sometimes they just want to go all the way through. Community college usually just give you 2 years. But anyways, y'all didn't ask me nothing. Let's see. Oh, the fanfare when I got into Trinity. Such a big deal. My mother couldn't stop telling the world. Her only girl at Trinity. And look at me now. Look at me now. One of the poorest people I know. She said she went to university. She got into a good school. And now she could barely make ends meet. That's crazy. Ellie smiled and wondered what to say. No, there's more to life than university, Miss Smarty Pants. There's more than just certifications and qualifications. I have them coming out of my ears and looking at me sitting here. It's you in your lower warm house, drinking your lovely Earl Grey tea, getting paid a pittance to fill your brain with my knowledge, then going home to nothing. She turned sharply and fixed Ellie's with a look. To nothing, I swear. Then she sighed and smiled, and the glasses up her nose in her glaze left. And Ellie, with her glaze left, Ellie in the lesson commenced. Afterward, Ellie found her mother in the kitchen and said, "Mom, I want to stop tutoring." Okay, yeah. Her mom turned and looked at her questioningly. "Oh," she said, "why?" Ellie thought about telling her the truth. She thought about saying, "She's freaking me out and saying really weird things, and I really don't want to be alone with her for an hour every week anymore." How she wished she had told her the truth. Maybe if she told her the truth, her mother might have been able to work it all out, and then everything would have been different. But for some reason she didn't. Maybe she thought her mother would say that it was silly reason to want to stop having the lesson so close to her exams. Or maybe she didn't want to get Noelle into trouble and didn't want a situation to develop. But for whatever misguided reason she said, I just honestly think I've gone as far as I can go with Noelle. I got all the practice papers she gave me. I smiled womanly and waited for her mother's response. Well, it does seem a bit strange so close to your exams time for now. Geography, for example, I could really do with some extra study time for geography. This was a 100% untruth. Ellie was totally on top of all her studies. The extra hour a week would make no difference to anything, but still she smiled. The mom pleasing smile left the request hanging on the air between them, waited. Well, darling, it's up to you, of course. Ellie nodded encouragingly in the echo of Noelle's loaded mood swings and the into slightly inappropriate questionings polishing through her consciousness. If you're sure it would be nice not to have extra expenses, her mother said. Exactly. Relief flooded through her. Exactly. Okay, said her mother, pulling open the fridge door, taking out a tub of bolognaise sauce, closing it again. I'll call her tomorrow to let her know. Great, said Ellie, lightly feeling an odd sorted weight lifting from her soul. Thank you. And when we start back, we'll be here. Alright, guys. That's it for tonight's bedtime stories. I hope you were comfortable and cozy and snuggled up. And you enjoyed this video. And I hope you come back next Friday for more videos of Then She Was Gone, the thriller by Lisa Joel.